Hey friends, welcome back to No Matter What. I'm your host, Hanna Seymour, and today we have our second repeat guest, the second person of all time on No Matter What to come back for a second time. We have Tanner Olson today. Tanner is a writer and a poet and a speaker who really talks honestly about what it looks like to walk through brokenness and hardship and hurt, hanging on to hope, letting joy find you, trusting in God's goodness and his glory. He has a book coming out called Get Through What You're Going Through. It is a beautiful book of poems. I am genuinely obsessed with it. And we just have a conversation. We talk about depression. We talk about stress. We talk about the importance of remembering who God is, what he's done in our lives, where he's been faithful. Anyway, I think no matter what's going on in your life right now, this conversation is going to resonate with you. So without further ado, here is Tanner Olson. Well, Tanner, I am so thrilled to have you back on No Matter What. You are our, like I talk like the royal we, but you are No Matter What's second repeat guest. So I've only had one other person on the show twice. Just happened, like episode 52, I think. And this is some other 50 something. We're still in the 50s, I think, once this episode releases. But yeah. So thanks for being a returner. I mean,
I don't get anything for this, do I? There's not like a, like
I'll
on
work
SNL,
on that.
they get like a jacket. Like
Yeah.
when you host for the fifth time or whatever, you get a jacket.
I'll work on that. I like koozies a lot, like that you put on your soda can. So maybe I'll create a koozie and I'll ship those out to my.
That would be amazing. Well, it was an honor to be on here the first time, and it's just as much of an honor to be on here the second time. It was fun because the last time I was on, we were talking about my children's book, All the Things I Say to God, and that was a lot of fun. So thanks for having me on then, and let's hope that this conversation is also good.
I think it's going to be great. That book is still a top read in our house, so
wonderful.
That. Yeah, we just love it. Mostly my daughter and I. My sons, we read other things, but my daughter and I are into that book. Okay.
Well, it's so funny because the book is about a little girl who begins to pray. And so I've been sharing the book all over the country. And the number of times like people would come up to me and be like, when are you going to write a book for boys? And I was like, well,
why isn't this for boys though?
This one is also for boys too. It's just about a little girl. And they're just like, where are the trucks? And I was like, that's okay. I'll write one about trucks learning how to pray.
Praying. So I think that's great. Trucks. I think that's a great sequel to this book. Okay, before we jump in, because you have a new book coming out. I'm thinking it's out by the time that this episode releases. It's called Getting Through What You're Going Through. I am so excited about this book. I actually already bought 2 pre-orders mailed to friends that I'm like, I know this book is just going to make their heart sing. They're going to love it so much. But before we get into that, my favorite question to ask at the top of a show, which I don't remember if we did this the first time with you, but what is just one small, ordinary thing in your life right now that's bringing you joy?
I've been drinking a lot of hot water. This is my Dolly Parton mug from Dollywood. I've been drinking a lot of we have a Dolly Parton themed bathroom, but it's required in the state of Tennessee. Oh, really?
I did my daughter's nursery in Dolly Parton. I have 2 boys and 1 girl. So when I had a girl, I was like, I'm either doing Golden Girls, Gilmore Girls, or Dolly. And I decided it's just she has a Dolly bedroom.
I feel like you just boiled those ideas down into one person, and it's perfect. I have been drinking a lot of hot water with lemon, and I don't know what that says about me. Maybe that means like I'm an old man.
I think it's
my skin's getting thinner. I'm not sure, but it's been like all day long. And maybe it's not even healthy. But I'm just drinking hot water with some lemon, and it's been great. What about you? What's bringing you? What's the little thing that brings you joy?
Thing that's bringing me joy right now. What's a good question? I mean, so I started doing Fairlife whole milk for cappuccinos in the afternoon. So it's just like, but it frosts real good. That the Fairlife, something about the ultra processed, it frosts like nothing in our little Nespresso barista thingamabobber that does stuff with milk. I don't know. Anyway,
That's amazing. Have you ever had the peanut butter cups, the dark chocolate peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's?
it's the only it's
Oh,
the only way. It's the only peanut butter cup I'll eat. And
it's
I'll eat
so.
Justin's too. Dark chocolate Justin ones, but yeah. So
I'm
good.
not going to go that far. I'll eat pretty much whatever kind of peanut butter chocolate you put in front of me. But those ones, I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
because here's the thing,
Yeah.
I'm getting older. It's happening. I didn't think it was going to happen. It's starting to happen. I can't go as hard as I want to on the sweets, and I really want to.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, all right, I'm one a day at the end of
Yeah.
the day, and it's
Yeah.
going to be so good. And it's just, but it goes by so fast. And so
I
that's
know.
why we're drinking hot
I know.
water with lemon out of a Dolly
That's
Parton
right.
mug, but it has my name on it. So that's,
It's
important.
balance. That's what that is. Okay. Okay. We gotta go in. We gotta go in hard. And I already asked you before we hopped on to talk today, but I would love
Yeah.
if you would open our episode reading one of the poems in your book, and then we'll go
Yeah.
from there. I need the people to hear what they're gonna get when they pre-order this book. Actually, it'll be buying
Yeah.
now because we've passed the
Yeah.
pre-order window.
I've got a couple. I've got so many in here that I want to read to you. And
I
the
know.
book is also available on Audible, but I want to share one because I think
Oh,
that'll kind of
that's
help set the
fun.
tone. And
Yeah.
then there's another one that I'll share at the end. This one is titled, You Cannot Make God Hurry. And it goes like this. You cannot make God hurry. He holds time in his hands and his timing is perfect, but according to my watch, he's late. The life I have isn't half bad, but I'm far from feeling whole, like there is a chip or crack somewhere in my soul. Dreams are disappearing as my reality is being reshaped. Grief and shame have found their ways into the center frame. Breaks in my foundation have made me long for something new. I know something more is happening than I can see, but what I see is life slipping away from me. I can't be the only one who feels this way. I can't be the only one who's tossing and turning at night, wondering if everything will be all right, asking God questions, beginning with when and why. I can't be the only one who's tired of feeling stuck or behind, like I'm standing in the wrong line. But I also know God is never far off. He's in the waiting, He's in the wondering. He's before me and behind. He's in the here and now, just like He will be in the there and then. God is merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. He does things differently. He does not punish or push us away. He stays right here, inviting us to trust and wait. You cannot make God hurry, but you can join him in the certain and slow, and God is slow until he isn't.
Those last, I mean, the whole thing, but the last two lines are like killer. You cannot make God hurry, but you can join him in the certain and slow. And when I was reading that yesterday, I was like, what does that look like? Like, what does that actually look like? And we hate waiting. We hate it. We hate waiting on God. We want
Yeah.
our circumstance to change. But the only choice we really have is either to be hot and bothered by it and be mad, or in your words, join him in the certain and the slow. So what has that looked like for you, Tanner, to join him in the certain and slow when all you really want is answers now? Now.
Love a good answer. That would be great. Sometimes I would love just to know how the story is going to play out, but you can't skip to the end, and you can't just skip to the good part. Like there's something for us in the here and now, in the always, and we can either talk about it as like invitation, like we are invited into this by God to join him in the certain and slow, or you can say it five other different ways, 10 other different ways, but it kind of boils down to invitation and surrender.
Mm,
Like I so badly want to be anywhere other than where I am right now, like whatever season you're in that you don't want to be in.
yeah.
Like right now we're recording this and I've been in my house for 3 days because of a snowstorm, ice storm that came through Nashville. And I'm very much ready to be in next week already.
Yeah.
But I know that right now, like there is something for us here, whether it's like family time or time to like test my self control as I only eat one peanut butter cup a day, you know? Um, but to join God in the certain and slow, trusting that something more is happening, that we can see that we've not been forgotten, that our prayers have not been ignored, that we're not being punished, but He is at work in all of this. One of the things that I
Mm,
write about a lot of this kind of in the book is hope, but also waiting, and the two, they just can't be separated.
yeah.
Like when it comes to hope, like you're waiting for something,
Yeah.
or you're wading through something.
Yeah.
The two cannot be separated, and for me, that brings me comfort. Um, Even though the situation, the season is frustrating. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. People talk a lot about how most of life is waiting, and it's true.
It
And we
is.
can either be frustrated by that, uh, or we can be strengthened by that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning how to be strengthened by it because I'm pretty good at getting
Yeah.
frustrated.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a day to day. Dallas Willard coined this idea about the golden triangle of spiritual formation. And he says that there's 3 points to us like growing in maturity in Christ. And it's the practice of spiritual disciplines, the work of the Holy Spirit. And then he says it different ways as he teaches on it, but it's either he'll say patiently enduring hardships, or he'll say faithful acceptance of everyday problems. And I think about this a lot. Like,
Hmm.
if the way to spiritual growth, if the path towards spiritual maturity, and I think he's right, I think it has to include faithfully enduring or accepting or persevering through just everyday
Hmm.
problems, not sometimes not every day, sometimes mega
Yeah.
once in a lifetime type hardships. Um, but we are so wired, or at least I am. I'll speak for myself. When something happens, I just want to pray, fix it, Jesus. Like, get me out of this.
Yeah.
This but it's like, no, no, no. The Lord has purpose in these hardships. So I'm wondering if
Yeah.
you have, a moment or a season in life where you're like, no, I mean, I know you have, but is there something that you've learned specifically about the Lord in those seasons of waiting that you wouldn't know otherwise?
I think it's the things that I know on surface level then became more real.
Mm,
It's the things that I kind of that we as believers will say, God is good, everything's going to be okay. Just like things that are true, but then you
true.
learn like the depth of them as
Yeah,
well, or then you
yeah,
begin to add on to that. Like God is good. Like I know that God is good, and
yeah.
it also allows me to then say that this is really hard.
Mhm,
I think all of these
mhm.
seasons working together, they can either like build you up or tear you down. And I think as you are strengthened in those seasons of accepting the invitation into the certain and slow, trusting that the Holy Spirit is at work, practicing the spiritual disciplines in all different kinds of ways, because they look
Yeah,
better, they look different during the summer than they do in the winter,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
that, just whether that's how your life is on in the good or in the bad, it just kind of changes how you work those out. And then like patiently enduring, like
Mhm.
has led me to see, and I'll share this in the next poem later on, but like I would say everything is okay, even if everything isn't okay today.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
one
yeah,
day,
yeah.
everything will be okay.
Yeah,
And I think it's
yeah.
just allows us to be more honest. Like
Mm,
we do have a really good God, and yet this world is really, really not good,
right,
right?
right.
Uh, and so to walk through that with open hands, trusting
Mhm.
that God has not forgotten us, that we've not been left alone, and that something more is taking place. And it also gives us this
Mm,
perspective too, of this heavenly perspective of I know
mhm.
that like this is not going to be the end, but that good is on the way.
Yeah.
And that's what allows me to, I think that's what's kind of allowed me to endure, is I'm like, I can hang with this for as long as I need to hang with this, because I know that the story ends with meeting Jesus.
Oh gosh. I know. I know. I think that truth and hope has some of it is just the older I get, the more it becomes real. But part of that is just there's more loss. The older I get,
Yeah.
the more loss I experience. And, when you bury loved ones and when you bury children that are not supposed to die at the young age. Like, it's like heaven becomes so real and so just you wake up thinking about heaven. Like there will be no more pain. There will be no more tears. We will be reunited together with Christ. Okay, changing the channel a little bit. You shared, I think it's in the introduction actually of this book, that you had an ulcer and that it was a symptom of stress. And you wrote this, I want to talk about this because it reminded me of a Francis Chan quote that I used to like hang my hat on. But you wrote, your stress was actually a symptom of pride. This Francis Chan quote, it's kind of long, but I'm gonna read the whole thing. Worry implies that we don't quite trust God is big enough, powerful enough, or loving enough to take care of what's happening in our lives. Stress says the things we are involved in are important enough to merit our impatience, our lack of grace towards others, and our tight grip of control. Basically, these two behaviors, worry and stress, communicate that it's okay to sin and to not trust God because the stuff in my life is somehow exceptional. Both worry and stress reek of arrogance. They declare our tendency to forget that we've been forgiven, that our lives are brief, and that in the context of God's strength, our problems are small indeed. I used to be, I still am sometimes, I found this quote when I was stressed out to the max in life, constantly stressed. Most of it was my job. And I printed this off and put it right next to my computer because I was like, my worry and stress is sin and it's pride and it's not trusting God. And I think all of those are true. And you wrote this in your book, your stress was a symptom of pride. But I want to talk about this with you from a compassionate place because I think I used to be pretty like full dogmatic black and white on myself of like, you're stressed and you're anxious and it means you're not trusting God and that's sin and it's disrespectful to the Lord, yes. And so help us there. Like, you're realizing I'm stressed. This is a symptom of my pride, but I'm being met by a compassionate God in this who loves me. How did this change the way that you were responding to your limitations, recognizing and responding to your stress?
Well, let me just say it was the worst pain that I had ever felt in my entire life. I woke up in the middle of the night with the worst, it was like a back pain that wrapped around my stomach. It was like this tightrope. I was crying in our bed and it just would not go away. And it was miserable. And I did not want to live. I didn't want to live that way. I didn't want that pain to come back. So, we go to the doctor, they diagnosed me, they say you have a stomach ulcer. And I was like, well, when do we need to do the surgery? And they were like, no surgery.
Cut it out.
It requires lifestyle changes. And I was like, well, that's even
healing.
Worse. I would rather do the surgery. And they're like,
100%.
that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I needed to make a bunch of changes. And it really, they were like, yeah, some dietary things too. Like, do you drink a lot of coffee? And it's like, I'm a writer. Okay. Yeah, of course I drink a lot of coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you think I function? How else do I feed stress and worry? I have to drink coffee.
Yeah.
So it just kind of woke me up and I realized this is not the right way. And I'm sure I had read that Francis Chan quote, and I don't know, if I needed to have read it because I knew that what I was doing was not the way. It just was not the way. I don't read through the Gospels and Jesus be like, all right, now's a great time to worry and get stressed out about it. His demeanor is wonderful and also frustrating to somebody like myself because I'm like, let's go get some stuff done. And I think he kind of comes at it as it's been done.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who did it.
Yeah.
So why don't you just trust?
Yeah.
And continue to hope. And I think the thing that I've learned and I've seen over the last couple of years is how God continues to come close and remind me that there is a better way. And I think if you look at what's happening all around us in the world, whatever is popular, for the most part, is often popular not for a good reason. it is almost as if we can say to that, I think there might be a better way. And when we look at like hustle culture or build, scale, grow, it's like, well, you're missing out. I missed out on so many beautiful things that get labeled ordinary. I missed out on
Mhm.
a lot of time to spend with family and friends and loved ones or just being outside because I was like, well, I have to make this happen.
Mm.
Like I had like, you know what
Mhm.
it's like to have a dream. And so there's something like when God invites you to do something, and for me, it felt like I was invited to write, like called to um, write books and poetry and speak and do all that. And so I felt like I was had to like have both hands on it and strangle it, and that's just not healthy. Turns
Yeah.
out it's not
Yeah.
healthy,
Yeah.
and it's almost like God has invited us to partner with Him and not just to go branch out and do our own
Mm.
thing.
Mm. What an
So
interesting
and that took a
concept.
lot that took a lot of, I mean, obviously, it took, like, a stomach ulcer to wake me up, and then it also took, like, a lot more failure and, like, steps back before I realized,
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I have to make some space, I have to make changes," and I am not great at making changes, um,
Yeah. I mean, none of us
and
are, I
change
don't
is
think.
important. No, it's just but, like, again, I'm like, "Well, if this is the invitation
Mm.
for something better, and something better is with God. And so he's
Mhm.
going slow. So I will also go slow. And
Yeah.
he says, to rest. He can do more in 6 days than I can do in seven. Seems like a pretty
Yeah.
good deal.
Yeah.
So a lot of unlearning and now relearning again um,
Mm.
in all of that. But I would never
Yeah.
wish a stomach ulcer on anybody.
No.
It was
No. No.
it was brutal.
You have this line about meet or letting joy meet you where you are. I am a few years ago, I kind of always considered myself like the glass isn't half empty, it's not half full. Um it's just there. Like I always kind of tried to pretend like I was just a realist, I wasn't an optimist,
Yeah.
wasn't a pessimist. And I don't know, a few years ago, I just kind of started getting not I guess convicted. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. And just feeling like, no, if Christ came to give us abundant life, if he was who he says he was, and he did what scripture said he did, yes, this life is painful and hard and broken, but we should also have a joy that is out of this world. And I don't mean a fake
Hmm.
happiness. I don't mean, but this life, whether you're a Christian or not, but I think it's amplified when you are a believer, like we walk with each hand open, one is carrying sorrows and one is carrying joy. And we don't ignore the sorrows and we don't pretend like they're not there. Like, Jesus wept. There's tons of scripture that talk about we mourn and we grieve and we weep and we carry each other's burdens, but we can't forget the joy. And I just loved that idea of let joy be the be the one that finds you. Let joy meet you where you are, even when things aren't resolved. And so I'm curious how you got here. What how did you figure this out, Tanner? What did that look like in real life for you, especially on days that are just so defeating?
Do you want to know how I got there in the first place? And this might upset some people, and there's probably great logic behind it, but the saying choose joy really bothered me,
Totally.
because I did not want to choose joy. I was our backstory, and we talked about this on our first podcast that we did. It's like our backstory was my wife and I really wanted to become parents. Were diagnosed with unexplained infertility, had no answers. Were just and then entered into this long season of grief. And
Yeah.
then when you are grieving, whether that's like the loss of a dream or a future or someone that you loved or like the life that you thought that you were going to have, like don't tell me to choose joy. And it's really catchy and it looks really good on sweatshirts, especially when like the letters are all different colors. It's cute, but it's not like it's it it wasn't. I would walk around airports traveling to different speaking events, and there'd be people with Choose Joy sweatshirts on. And I'd be like, absolutely, like I would love, like I can't.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sad,
sad.
and
Yeah.
like you said it so well. Like we're holding two things at the same time. Like
Yeah.
there is hope, there is grief, there is joy, there is sorrow, there is peace, there is pain, there's all this at the same
Yeah.
time. Um, And so like, let joy come and find me. And joy does.
Mm,
Like, and the thing that
mm,
I'm learning about, like, about joy, about hope is like, they're not rude. They're not like, pick me, choose
yeah.
me. It's like
Yeah.
they're already at the table making room for all the things that you wish were not there. They're not trying to
Mm,
take the microphone, but they're quietly whispering, like I mentioned, and I'll mention it 5 more times, like everything is going to be okay, even if everything isn't okay today.
yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
rude. They're not
Yeah.
proud. They're not vicious. They're not fake.
Mm,
Um, they're resilient, though. Like I have to
yeah.
believe hope and joy, they're resilient. They're fierce, but they can read a room.
Yeah.
Um, and they can show up, you know?
That's so
But they
good.
show up. And so like for me, like, and that, so now when I see people who have like, choose joy, like I don't get as upset as I used to. Cause I used to be like, no, no, like shut it down, ship it out. We're done with this. Um, but
Oh,
now
that's
I'm
funny.
like, it's just another reminder of like, maybe that works for them.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me. And I'm
Yeah.
sure like I
Yeah.
know what I've learned in this writing journey. And I'm sure you've learned this too with podcasting, with writing, with speaking, is like sometimes you connect with people's words in a different way. Someone might
Mm-hmm.
connect perfectly with choose joy, but
Yeah.
that just wasn't something that got me.
Yeah.
And so now me trying to write out why that doesn't make sense, but like, hey, joy is already here. You can rest
That's
in
right.
this gift.
Yeah.
And so that's how I approach it now. And
Yeah.
yeah, it seems to fit me a little bit better than the
Mm.
choose joy. I know people are listening right now and they'll be like, have the sweatshirt on, or they're drinking out of a mug that has like choose joy. And like, don't throw it away. You don't have
Yeah.
to throw it away.
Yeah.
I'm also just saying, like, joy has chosen you. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it works. Like, God has
Yeah.
done the work.
That's right.
So, like,
Yes.
yeah, you can rest in it, or you can remind yourself of joy.
Yeah.
But like, it was already in the house before you
That's
moved in.
right. That's right. I write about joy in my book through the lens of practicing the disciplines of celebration and Thanksgiving. And
Mm,
Richard Foster is the one who said
mm-hmm.
that those disciplines are the key to unlocking joy in our lives, which I think still fits, the way that you framed it of like joy is there. And maybe even kind of marries the two. We choose it perhaps by like unlocking the door, like it's there,
Yeah.
it's ready to be let in. But just this idea of the more that we practice gratitude, the more that we
Mm-hmm.
celebrate even the tiny things in life. Your son takes a great nap today. That's a great thing to celebrate. Like just like these tiny
Oh.
things of it just unlocks just little whispers of joy. And the more
Mm-hmm.
we do that, the more we see it. I think in that chapter 2, I write about the Bader Meinhof effect. When you buy a new car, so like I got a minivan a few years ago. That was our brand new car. And now I'm out on the road and all I see are black Honda Odysseys because that's what I'm driving. There aren't more black Honda Odysseys out in the world. I just see
Mm,
them now. And so this idea when we
yeah.
practice gratitude, when we practice celebration, it opens our eyes to seeing more of the good things of God, the
Mm-hmm.
more of his glory and faithfulness and the ways that he's moving in our lives. Um, Something that you write about throughout the book is just the power of remembering. And I think about constantly, like throughout scripture, God over and over and over is telling his people to remember, look back, tell the story again, tell it to the
Yep.
next generation, keep remembering. So why do you think remembering matters so much, and how have you seen it bear fruit in your own life?
I think one of the things, and this kind of goes back to what you were just saying about the minivan. First of all, there are a lot of Odyssey minivans
There's
out
so
right now.
many that I didn't notice
We got
before,
one
I have to
too.
say.
It's so great. 17 cup holders. It's amazing. Do you know how many cup holders that is?
I
That's like 10
I
more than you need, but like still I could
listen.
do 10 more. Give
I,
me 27 in the next
I
one.
always need more cup
Um,
holders. You're not wrong.
it's great. Put my Choose Joy mug right in there and we're ready to go.
That's what I'm gonna
Uh,
send you
I will use it. Um,
with your name on it
I
and Dolly's face. It's gonna
oh
be
yes,
very custom.
Tanner, choose joy.
Very
Well,
custom.
if Dolly's on it, then we're keeping it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
as a writer, I think my best writing advice is some of my best like living advice, and that is just to pay attention, right?
Mm,
And so as
mhm.
we pay attention, we're also then locking in these memories, these events, these things that we're seeing, this stuff that we are patiently enduring or uh, slowly trusting God through. Uh, and I think that helps us to remember and then to tell the story as well, to see
Mhm.
all that is happening in the world, all that is happening around us. And so, as a writer, as somebody who is like constantly looking for the next thing to write about, to put words to, uh, I am trying to remember the things that I want to hold on to when I am 50 and 60 and 70 and 80. And also, now that I get to be a dad, I want to tell my son all of the things, all of the, I feel so bad for our son sometimes because he's going to have so much, so many of my books that I'm like, you're going to want to read this one, bud. Uh, you should buy it on Amazon first, but you're going to want to read it.
The pre-order
Like
counts. Yeah.
pre-order really matters, Judah.
Yeah, it really matters.
Or like the 100 whatever Substack posts that I have that I've written, whether about him or waiting or joy. But it's like all of these things I hope that I am writing about, that I am remembering, that I am trying to put into words. I hopefully it points like to the hope that we have in God, um, to his kindness, to his mercy, to his grace, and to see that all of this is a gift.
Mm.
Um, I've been reading through the Old Testament recently, and it's hard for me because it's just slow and long,
Yeah.
and yeah, and then everyone dies, and it's so you're just like, well,
Lots of
that's
weird
it's just
stuff. Yeah.
it can be a tough read, but
Yeah.
when you begin to see like the beauty of the story,
Mhm.
why these words have been passed on and passed on and passed on, we see that we have a faithful God who is all about restoration, and
Yes.
that's what I want to continue to write about. And to share with the world. So, yeah, the a lot of this book is like, hey, remember, like, because you have gone through things, but
Yeah.
God has also gotten you through them, which is, why
That's
we
right.
titled the book "Getting Through What You're Going Through." Is like
Yeah.
you've gone through stuff. Like, don't ignore that.
Right.
Remember that. Like, I think I've been thinking a lot about the pandemic recently. Sorry to bring it up,
Mm.
because it was a hard time. It's
Yeah,
not
it was.
great,
Yeah.
um, but we went through it. Like
Yeah.
we got through it,
Yeah.
and there's going to be something else that comes along, and it may not be the same. Let's hope not. But there's going to be mourning and loss and death and pain and all the things. And I'm
Yeah.
going to have to take what I learned during that hard season and apply it.
I think so often too, maybe we've been trained to do this or we just like this is what our flesh wants to do, but it's like eventually I'll know why. At some point we'll get through this and I'll be able to look back and know why. And I just think there's a lot of hardship and brokenness and pain and hurt and that like we're
Hmm.
just we're never gonna know why. Now, maybe in eternity, once we're with the Lord, and I think we'll have more information. I still don't think we're gonna know everything because I think if we know
We're good.
everything, then yeah, like we don't need a God who like I still think that there's gonna
Yeah.
be some level of like anyway, I digress. Um, but I think the older I get, the more I'm learning to be comfortable with the very uncomfortable fact that I will never know why some things happen in this life and some pain
Hmm.
and hardship that exists and that we have to experience or walk through or witness. There's just not going to be a bow on this side of heaven of like, oh, that's what the Lord used it for that. It's like, no, that just actually sucked so much. And it's just this pain is broken. So kind of continuing
Yeah.
along those lines, you write and speak very openly about depression, anxiety,
Hmm.
loneliness, burnout. I'm curious because a lot of the conversation we have on No Matter What, which is we talked about this in our first conversation, but it's when we're stuck in the tension of trying to cling to truth about God when it seems to be in contradiction with our current circumstances. So for
Hmm.
you, whether it was battling with these things, depression, anxiety, loneliness, burnout, um, what was that for you? Like, where did you find the most tension of, I know this to be true about God, but I'm not seeing it. And then I'd love to know, what did you need from people in that season that you didn't know how to ask for?
It's the like the dark night of the soul where you just feel
Yeah.
like you're at the very bottom
Yeah.
of all the bottoms. And I talk a lot. I like you said, I do talk pretty openly about like the really low seasons in my life. And I think, like, during that time, really what I needed, and it happened, is I needed people to come just be with me in that,
Mm,
or to call it out. We all need different things. I think
mhm.
what I needed was someone to recognize that where I was really hard. Like, I didn't need anybody to fix it.
Yeah,
Maybe that would have been nice, but
sure.
I really, like, yeah,
But
they're
they
like magic. I've got a
that's
magic
right.
wand. I can help you.
Yeah,
And that would have been great. I would not have said no.
yeah.
Um, but maybe I would have, because I mean, like you just, you said so well, like, I don't know if I'm going to want all the answers as to why this happened or why this
Mm,
didn't happen, because, like, and speaking from, like, where we were, like, we thought we were going to have biological children, and we
mhm.
get to be Judah's parents through adoption, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't change it.
yeah.
I don't need to know
Right.
why. Like, I
Yeah,
think I do. I think I know why. And so that's kind of like, for me, in those seasons of the low, like, of the waiting, of the wondering, of frustration, is like, I have to believe that something more is happening than I can see.
yeah.
Um, I've been thinking a lot. This is such a weird way to start a sentence. I've been thinking a lot about bamboo recently,
Sure. Mhm,
but, like,
mhm. Yeah,
right, as most of
yeah.
us
All the
do,
time.
but, like,
Yeah.
big bamboo podcast. But the thing about bamboo is, for a long time, the roots just grow deep and grow deep and grow
Yeah.
deep and grow deep. And then all of a sudden, what we see just shoots up. And you're
Wildfire.
just like, but I think some seasons are for the roots. And we just have
Yeah,
to, like, trust, like, this is what we're going through. Um, so really what I needed honest people in my life who could just show up and not tell me that everything was going to be okay. One of the things I say in this book is, it's a short little writing, but the idea of it is, I told somebody life was not going the way that I thought it would go, that I wanted it to go, and all he said back to me, and it changed me. He
mm,
just said, "I hate this for you."
yeah,
He didn't try to fix it, didn't try to talk to me about joy, didn't, just said, "I hate this for you."
yeah,
And that's what I needed.
yeah.
And I think if we told more people that we hate what they're going through because it's not good,
Right,
like, I think
right.
that would matter. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, the power of sitting with somebody.
yeah.
My job is not to fix you.
That's right.
My job is to show up and to love you. And
Yeah,
so I will do that again and again and again. And maybe one day things will change. And if they don't, I will still be sitting here.
yeah. It's hard to resist to put silver lining on everything. For some, maybe some people are better at it than others,
Yeah.
but I think that has been something I've had to learn over the years of, just to your point, it's like, this is horrible. I'm so sorry. I hate
Yeah.
this for
Call it what
you.
it is.
Like, if I could change this for you, I would. If I could snap my fingers and change it, I would. God, I'm sorry. And learning
Hmm.
to just be present and love people. And that's the other thing. A lot of times when we go through really gnarly, hard times, people tire, they get weary, and they walk away. And so to be the friend
Hmm.
that perseveres and that sticks through it. And I mean, gosh, what a gift. Um, okay, I want you to read one more poem for us. I want to end on.
Yes. This is one of my faves from the book. It's titled "What I Mean Is," and it goes like this: When I say everything will be okay, what I mean is, in the end, everything will be okay. Along the way, it will not all be okay. You already know this. There will be sadness and death and failure. There will be brokenness and moments that feel beyond repair. There will be pain and fear and unwanted changes to your story. There will be seasons when you feel far from okay, and moments when you wonder if the last line of this poem is true. Of the little I know, one thing I know for sure: through it all, there is hope. And hope invites us to lean in and hold fast to a light that continues to last. It moves us to love and dream and give and continue and stay for another day. It leads us to pray and forgive and cling to grace and believe the last line of this poem is true. Everything will be okay, even if everything isn't okay today.
So good. Y'all, this book is called Getting Through What You're Going Through. I'm telling you, this is like, it's not a coffee table book per se, but that is what I kind of like to do with these types of books. Like, okay, so Billy Collins was like my first introduction in high school of like, where I was like, whoa, I love poetry. Like, I was like, oh, this is speaking my language. And so like a Billy Collins book for me for years, I had him just like on a coffee table, on a side table, because it's just fun to just crack it open and read one, you know? And for me, I mean, you can do whatever you want with this book, but I'm like, this is a coffee table book that is actually open and you just read. Most of the poems are a page, some are two. I mean, it's like, but so packed full of just this continual tension that we all live through of hardship and hope and trusting deeply that the Lord is good and that he works out all things for his good and or our good and his glory. And also like, this is really, really hard. And so Tanner, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your labors and effort to put another book out into this world. I think I pray that this book does so well. Wait, you're doing something like crazy cool, I think, or you have a goal or something to get this book into a bunch of high schooler hands or something. Tell us about that, and then we'll say goodbye.
First of all, being compared even the slightest to a Billy Collins book, what a gift. I'll take it. He's amazing. I'll just like watch some of his videos. He's much older now, but I watch him like, am I gonna be doing that when I'm there? I hope so. Anyways, The Lanyard, one of my top 5 favorite poems of all time.
Yes.
Yes, I have this goal of raising, of getting this book, Getting Through What You're Going Through, into the hands of 7,000 high school and college students. And so if you want to make a donation towards that, you definitely can. All the information is on my website, writtentospeak.com, or just send me an email, writtentospeak@gmail.com. Or if you have a youth group or you work at a college or a Christian high school, like, let me know. I would love to get some of these copies to you all. I mean, I've been doing this for like 13 years now. This is the book that I have been wanting to release for so long. And I believe it can be helpful and hopeful. And so the goal is just to get it out there. And I'm so easy to get a hold of, like incredibly easy to get a hold of.
Embarrassingly easy.
I just sit at my computer waiting for emails. So
that's how we got him twice, folks. That's the only reason we got him twice on the show.
It was a long wait.
You know, and I don't want people to think now that I don't think they do, but that this book was written for the high school college student. This book will speak. No. I mean, I'm 41, 42 later this year. Like, and this book is, I mean, it's like where I'm sitting today. Every page, I'm like, yes. And I think I've never been 65, but I think the 65-year-old would agree. I mean, it is, but for a 16-year-old to read what they're feeling in their soul and the tension already on a page, golly, I think it matters a lot. I think it will be hugely helpful to them. So anyway, I love that y'all are doing that. That's awesome.
That's the hope.
All right,
thank
Tanner.
you, and thanks for having me on the podcast. What a gift! Yeah. I guess I'll have to write another book because
I write another book. We'll do it again.
3-time guest. I'm doing it right now. Hope you like dogs. So.
All right, y'all. We'll have all of Tanner's info in the show notes, linked to his book and his website and his Instagram account. His Instagram account is @writtentospeak, and he's one of my very favorite follows. So highly encourage you to go find him there. And until next time, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.